we moved on to the body lines, as in basically where there's separation, and me and Robert both think it just looks a lot cleaner if they're all the same and even. So what we did is, this door was really short all the way down, so I added some rod to it, welded it all up real good, and then moved on to the car. The thing is, I'm still going to come back and shave this down to get the same gap. We basically got our own gauge tool we made. Robert found a few different things to try, and he found something that works. So I moved on to the trunk after adding a rod there, and I added some right here. Ended up chasing a hole a little bit, so I stopped on that, because now that it's away from the edge, I feel like Bondo will be a fine thing to fill that in, take care of that. Let's see. Had a couple of pinholes right here on the door. Robert mentioned just pushing them in with one of the body straightening hammers, the pin hammer. So I pushed them both in and then just kind of filled it in with weld. That obviously took pretty well. This door wasn't as bad. I just shaved a little here and then stopped because we didn't have our gauge tool yet. Now that we do, I'll go back and come down it and cut it as well. And then right now, I'm right here at this body line. It was really close up until I started. The point here was almost touching the door. It started to rub in a certain areas, so now I'm just shaving away on the panel, not the door itself. Mainly because if I need to do any kind of welding, when you open the door, this goes into the car. So how am I going to fix that without taking the door off the car? And if I take the door off the car, well, we start all over with the body lines again. So we're not taking anything off, we're just doing it this way. So here's the knife Robert made, which works perfectly for scribing my line. Basically this longer blade here, I'm putting against the opposite panel that I want to cut on, and then the one that's shorter, I'm putting right on to the tape that we put here, which as you can see, I'm pretty much in there already. But when I drag it down and it is too far over, I'll cut the tape, and then all I do is peel the tape off, and let's see, it's right here, you can still see kind of where I need to still eat away at some of this metal here on the panel.
What's that?
Oh, and then this right here is the gauge tool that he found that works perfectly.
A washer.
A washer of some sort, which, I mean, you can use anything you want if you even decide that this is an issue for you. We just think it's going to look like a clean, it's going to be a much cleaner vehicle once we're done, once we get all these lines even.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
Why did you cut the door on that side, but on this side you're cutting the fender?
So on that side, so I cut the door, but I cut the door on the side that I can get to, which I'm doing the same thing here. Basically, when you open the door, see, I can get to all that now with a welder if need be.
And it's got an edge that returns here. It's solid.
I'd be cutting the metal in half there. So, but if you look here, so when the door is open, if I were cutting on the door on this side, well, now it's gone. Well, how am I going to get any welds in there without taking the door off?
Or clean it up.
Correct. So we didn't want to do that. That's just taking the door off alone is going to throw this line and this line off. It's going to throw the center line off and the bottom line. So we're not doing that. I wanted to find a gauge tool to make it easier to check if I'm cutting enough or not enough. So Robert came up with this, and he liked the thickness that it was for our gaps. It's just a washer. I believe it's for a steering wheel in the steering column.
Oh, it came out of a junk pile?
Correct. So putting the caliper on it, I'm reading, I mean, it's so close to an 1/8 inch. So
it's a little over an 1/8.
Yeah, so we're basically putting all of our gaps in the car just over an 1/8 inch.
What is this? We're not going to change this one.
No.
Stick the washer in there.
Just over. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'm sitting at, wait a minute. That's way over an 1/8, it says.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's what it is.
Yeah.
What do you got? Almost a quarter?
Almost 3/16.
Okay. I just want to add something. The reason we're doing that is because we got to line this and this and this and that and that and that. We just can't get it any better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could. I could cut. I could make a cut in here and then spread this over and then weld the whole thing. But this is close enough. But again, we're just trying to make it look clean.
think we got the lines for the hood at least really good.
So, what tool are you using to get in there?
So I wanted to use my flat disc because it doesn't take as much off, but I ended up using the angle cutoff tool here. It seems to be doing okay, but in reality, I need to get, so, what is this called? Air die grinder. So my air die grinder that I have at home, I've actually got the stone grinding pieces for it. This guy here is going to eat so much metal, and it's just so violent.
So you're gonna put a stone on there?
So I'm going to put, basically it's a stone, and it'll grind just like a grinder would.
Oh.
Yeah, similar. Yeah. So these would actually work pretty well. They would actually work really well. But then you've got. So notice you do have one stone, but it's a bit bigger than I'd want to use. So
I got some more stones.
here's the
up
one
there.
that you have. And I mean you can use them for anything, but I got a little multi-pack of them. There's like a ball. There's a pointed one. So the pointed one, my idea is I'm going to be able to put that point in there and just ease along the edge and get that seam the way we
A
want.
small.
Yeah, it's basically about this big on one end, but it comes to a point. So it's a cone, I guess you could say.
So I want to say, I got to say something else. There's a million ways to do everything, but so we're just trying to do the fastest we can without screwing it up.
Yeah.
And if we're doing it slow and we think, hey, we could do it a little bit faster and not screw it up, we'll do that. And if we go a little bit faster,
Basically, just try it. If it don't work out, go back to what you were doing that was working.
anyway, if you want to change that blade, oh, you just
Yeah, I actually don't
Just a
mind it being
screwdriver.
that small, and it is just a screwdriver. But the smaller the better, because with the curves in the vehicle, you can't curve the disc; it's going to shatter on you. So with how this line isn't straight up and down or straight horizontally, I've got to get in there and be able to curve it without hitting the door, at least too much. I mean, we know we're going to tap it a couple of times here and there, but if I cut into the door, well, that means I've got to take it off the car, fix that, put it back on, and start over with my lines.
so there's a point where you go too fast, and there's a point where you go too. You got to find that medium, and everybody's different.
There's a happy medium.
But I think we're just giving ideas to people. You can do whatever the heck you want. But man, I'll tell you, it's already looking a heck of a lot better.
I think so.
This is the gap we're shooting for. He just showed that. But this was like tight, wasn't it?
Very. Actually, it was rubbing here in this area. So that shows right there. And you can see where my tape's been cut right here. So I need to go at least almost that far there. And it doesn't seem like it, especially just looking at the singular point. But if you get dead on with the vehicle body line there, you'll be able to see the difference in this gap versus this versus this.
The other thing I want to say is, at least on a door panel, the way they put these door panels on, they put them on, I put one on something, and then they're folded in. So if you cut back too far, this could pop loose. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Then you'll have to put some welds in here. But for the way it looks and not having to pull the fender off and all that, it's worth it.
Because I can do this and put welds in it all day long.
What?
I can open the door and I can put welds on that edge all day long. Except maybe not here, which I know I could.
So if he takes too much off and has to weld, he's screwed up.
Yep, but I can fix it.